Going live today, there's a lot to unpack with this Iran conflict. Trump had some very strong words this morning in a tweet, and a lot of people are losing their minds, from Alex Jones, Anthony Scaramucci, Tucker Carlson, on and on and on, the people that are losing their minds over this tweet. And let me tell you, I've been taken a little bit back by the tweet. I'm not going to lie. It left me a little uneasy this morning. These are very, very strong words by the president. As you can see the tweet here, a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionary, wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. Doesn't take much to understand what he means. And I don't think we're over contextualizing what he's trying to say, is that he's going to use very aggressive action, and that aggressive action is nuclear weapons. There's no other way. Now the question is, does he do it? Or these are just words and giving ultimatums? I pray to God Iran comes to the table and has a deal good enough to get this thing over with, because I don't want to see this prolong. The question that many have, is Trump unhinged? Some are saying that the 25th Amendment needs to be enacted. I don't know if that's the case. I still, a side of me thinks Trump has way too much to lose, even though he's older, but he's got kids. He's got grandkids. Do you think that he's going to put his family in jeopardy? Because if he does go forward with a nuclear attack, that's it. I mean, there's no going back from this. What does that look like for us? Does Russia get involved at some capacity? Does China get involved? I mean, you're really starting World War III. I know many have said that it's already been started, but I think if you take an action like wiping out a whole entire civilization, what kind of chain reaction will that have for the world? I don't know. It's a lot of unanswered questions that I have, and many of you have. And for the first time through this whole entire situation, I've had to pause and think, are we close? Are we close to World War III? And what are the implications of that? It means the end of humanity, right? You can't go back from that. And these are very, very strong words by the president. And I think he's more pragmatic than these words. I hope that Iran comes to the table. I really do. Here's a clip from Fox News on the story.
Senior U.S. official with me in a conversation earlier today said the following: "We are absolutely in touch with Iran, absolutely. The talks have been positive. If we get lucky, we will have something by the end of the day." End of the day suggesting 8 o'clock later tonight. So on the clock, wherever you are in the time zone right now, that's 11 hours from now. I think it's important for two things, Dana. When you look at what the vice president said in Hungary last hour, he talked about the military objectives of Iran are being completed now, which I think might surprise a lot of people, but still feels confident that it can get a response by 8 o'clock tonight. Now, what the president said yesterday when he was in the briefing room, he said the Iranians came back with a 10-point plan, but it did not meet the satisfaction about the nuclear program or the Strait of Hormuz. But he still said it's a significant proposal, significant step. It's not good enough, but it's a very significant step. So whether or not there is some hints in all of this, we'll see throughout the course of the day.
So we'll take you through all of it. We are 11 hours away from the president's ultimatum to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and come to a deal or else face obliteration. American forces are keeping up the pressure, bombing dozens of military targets on Karg Island overnight, and that's according to a U.S. official.
So we also got this from the last hour on Truth Social moments ago. Here we go now, and it's a long one. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight, one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran.
So let's get going. Trey Ying's reports from Tel Aviv. Dan Kaufman with analysis on where
I don't even know. I don't know. What happens if 8 o'clock comes and Iran doesn't come to the table and you don't do anything about it? I don't even know. I don't even know how to respond to this. I'm at a loss for words. This is very, very strong language. And listen, even for Trump, even the Easter tweet didn't bother me as it bothered many, and I'm a Christian. Was it the right day to do something like that? No, it wasn't. But when you vote for Trump and you understand who Trump is, this is what you signed up for, and this is part of the deal with Trump. But this, man, this is a point of no return. And it's like drawing the red line, how Obama did with Syria, and he never did anything about it and just showed complete weakness to the rest of the world. And what happens at 8 o'clock if he doesn't follow through with what he is saying? Is it more gaslighting by him saying that the Iranians want to make a deal and they extend this another, couple of days, 7 days, 10 days, how they've been messaging? And I think the messaging has been completely off by the Trump administration. I spoke about that on the episode yesterday, where the messaging is completely off. Do we want regime change? Do we not want regime change? Is it about nuclear weapons? Which that's really what they've been hanging on to, is the whole nuclear weapon aspect of this. The question is the alternative, right? Like I keep asking the alternative to all this. If Iran was to get a nuclear weapon, would they use it? For me, the answer is yes. So you either deal with this now or you kick it down the road. And if you kick it down the road, it could create a bigger problem. And especially with a new administration that has been a new administration that could possibly be lax like previous administrations with Iran. I don't know where we go from here. I pray to God that Iran just comes to the table and concedes, because this is not only going to get ugly for them, it's going to get ugly for the world if Trump does something stupid. And I hope not. I hope he's not that unhinged. He has way too much to lose. He's got a beautiful family, like I said. He's got a younger son that still hasn't experienced his whole entire life. Like, I don't know. And what is Iran? Does Iran have a nuclear weapon that we don't know about? Do they get desperate and do something stupid in retaliation? Let's just say Trump doesn't use a nuclear weapon, but he goes after all their power plants, which, by the way, I was reading, it's a violation it's a war violation, right? It's you can't do that. It's a war crime. It's the word I was looking for. It's a war crime. Can't do it. Does Trump follow through with that and go after every plant? Now, causes one of the biggest humanitarian crises in the history of the world. You have 19 million people that live in Iran. Iran is bigger than Western Europe from a geographical standpoint. So if you take that action, now you cause a tremendous humanitarian problem. And how does Iran retaliate? Backed against a corner. Do they have any of their allies jump in? There's a lot to this. This is complex stuff. Stuff that I didn't think I was going to be talking about this morning. And I don't think we've been on the brink of a situation like this since the Cuban Missile Crisis with Russia back in the day, when Kennedy basically was able to pull a rabbit out of the hat and defuse the whole thing through back channels with the Russian state. Here's Vice President J.D. Vance on where he stands in the whole entire situation.
Confident that we can get a response, whether it's positive or negative. We're going to get a response from the Iranians by 8 o'clock tonight. I hope they make the right response, because what we really want is we want a world where oil and gas is flowing freely, where people can afford to heat their homes and cool their homes, where people can afford to transport themselves to work. That's not going to happen if the Iranians are engaged in acts of economic terrorism. So they've got to know we've got tools in our toolkit that we so far haven't decided to use. The President of the United States can decide to use them, and he will decide to use them if the Iranians don't change their course of conduct. But we feel confident that we can get a response, whether it's positive or negative. We're going to get a response from the Iranians.
Just more doubling down by J.D. Vance on what Trump said this morning. You know, and people are losing their minds. I mean, you got Anthony Scaramucci talking about enacting the 25th Amendment. Are we there? I don't know. Are we? I still, a side of me thinks that Trump is just trying to force them to the table and trying to use every possible tool and leverage points that he has against Iran. Would it work? See, the thing about Iran is when you're facing an adversary that is gun-ho on their ideology, how do you beat that? Because if they die, they're promised many things when they die. And they want to die. They don't care to die. They don't value life the way we value life. They just killed 40,000 of their own civilians over protest. Their way of life is very different than our way of life. And they're willing to die for their ideology. So do they come to the table with the request that the Trump administration is asking for? Open up the Strait of Hormuz. No nuclear weapons. Do they concede? Or are we at a point of no return? That they're willing to die for their cause. And then what do you do if you're the United States? You get no regime change. They're going to continue pursuing nuclear arms. Then what do you do? How do you beat that ideology? And see, the thing about Iran is that they cut off the leadership, but there's many sectors to the government. They've broken up, I think it's like 30 different sections of the government has been broken up. So you take one out, the next one comes in. How do you defeat that? And I think that Trump got convinced by Israel and his advisors that Iran was weaker than what it truly was. Because with the blow that they had on leadership, you would think this by now would be over. And it's not. It's only escalating. So here's Alex Jones. He's been sounding the alarm since yesterday. He's talking also about enacting the 25th Amendment and saying that, you know, he's been a supporter of Trump, but we got to get him out of there. Roll the clip.
A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. That is the definition of genocide. Not a war, not a defensive war, but a literal bombardment, like Martians, you know, attack us and we don't have a defense. And I want to be clear, I am proud I backed Trump the last 10 years. So much good happened. Globalism was absolutely discredited and dismantled. It's part of a larger wave worldwide. But this new Trump really started when Elon Musk got run out of there. The last 8 months is a disaster. And I abhor the Democrats. I absolutely know they're globalist and are a major threat. But currently Trump, with this Iran war and the energy crisis and the PR disaster, I mean, the North Korean dictator doesn't talk like this. He talks like a supervillain from a Marvel comic. And oh, they love the bombs. Oh yeah, they love it when that bridge blew up. Everybody was camping under it, running, screaming. They're terrorizing those people. Now he's just going to hit their water plants, all their electricity, and all their bridges. Those are quotes. That is a war crime under the Geneva Convention that we are a signatory to. And it's not how America operates. It's not how we roll. I can tell you, as I told you months ago, people inside the White House are horrified. The majority of them are. But no one will tell him to his face. Susie Wiles was in the news last week saying, I'm asking the cabinet staff to tell Trump the truth about the war. Told you all that before it came out. Even Susie Wiles, and she's no dove, is trying to put the brakes on this. We're now 38, 39 days into it. He says he doesn't care if the strait's closed, but you better open it or I'll effing destroy you. Stone Age crap. So Marjorie Taylor Greene joined me this morning. We talked this morning. And she put out a post saying 25th Amendment. And yeah, we don't have the votes in the Senate and all the rest of it. And I don't think his cabinet's going to turn on him. But the point is it sends a very strong message of stop it. Israel is a rogue state, most unpopular in the world. We're now following them in the poll numbers just to show people think of us. Communist China is more popular in America now. We're losing all our soft power. Inflation is exploding. Energy prices are exploding again. That will derail all of Trump's plan. Economists warned before he did it. And it's a fact. This is a disaster. And the cherry on top is there's no exit plan, and all of Trump's old enemies that said F Trump, never Trump, the Mark Levins, the Ben Shapiros, all of them, all the neocons, they love him now. And all the real patriots, the 1776ers that MAGA rode in on, we're persona non grata. Well, good. I don't want to be at the megalomaniac table, in junior high. I don't want to be at the cool, drooling warmonger table. I've backed Trump as he started going sideways the last 8 months overall because there was so much good still being done. But this existential threat to literally the world existing on the extreme end and on the lesser bad end, just economic collapse where it's credited worldwide, it's just too dangerous. It's too existential. So I saw these idiots over the years say, oh, Jones isn't bashing Trump. She wants access. Access to what? Access. I talk to whoever I want to. Got up these sources, but what does that mean? I can see Trump's actions out in the open. I've never tried to be in D.C. or Mar-a-Lago. I'm here in Austin, Texas, where I'm from, being independent. And that's what I stand for. I see all the idiots in the comments on my viral post this morning. Oh, wire hits your account. No, you're the ones, like Salem Radio, openly owned by the Israeli government. That's in the public filings. I mean, it's just crazy town. I'm funded by listeners buying supplements and t-shirts and knives and stuff at thealexjonestore.com. They're great. If you want to fund what we're doing, go there. What I stand for is on my sleeve. And I was never for this war. And I'm sure as hell not for the way it's being carried out. For the first time in 32 years on air, I said it's dangerous, but it could work, and it's in our hemisphere. And China's manipulating Cuba through Venezuela, through Mexico, controlling our elections. They can get Maduro out, do a regime change, and actually let him have an election, then do it. They did it, but now they're leaving the communist vice president in charge. It's just bad, folks. Absolutely bad. And Trump's real advisors want him not to do this. So he wants to, get rid of Tulsi Gabbard because of it. And she barely got saved last week by people close to Trump explaining to him that she's the only loyal person to him. These neocons will turn on Trump as soon as he's out of office like that. They are his arch enemy. And now Trump's telling people uprise again in Iran. All he's done is made the regime stronger when it comes to people on the ground. He says, oh, their military's been destroyed. They don't even have a BB gun. Now they've got a sizable, very powerful military. He said yesterday. The war's been won. The war's not been won. War will be over a couple days, over a couple weeks. Now they're going into Karg Island today. Boots on the ground, ready. What a fiasco. Pray for President Trump to be shaken out of this. Pray for Trump, like Saul on the road to Damascus, for God to hit him with a bolt of light and wake his ass up and get him to reverse course. I mean, this is a disaster. And also, all the people that are pissed off at Trump think if I'm trying to tell everybody to lobby to get Trump to wake up or get people around him to do something, that's somehow on the Trump train. No, it's trying to get the crazy King Lear to somehow shake his ass out of this. People better be politically engaged right now. You better be politically engaged right now. This is damn serious. It's the lowest approval ratings he's ever had, 33 points. That's going to wreck the goddamn, midterms, folks. This is so serious. This is existential. Iran is not Iraq or Afghanistan. Those things almost bankrupted us. We're on the verge of bankruptcy. Already, that's what we need is recovery to work. All these idiots go, oh, how does oil prices and fertilizer running out? How's that affect inflation? You don't know what you're talking about. These are known facts. It's already happening, jackasses. What I predicted when it started 38 days ago has come true.
That's so easy.
I'm right. Those of you out there lied about all this, you're wrong. You're the ones getting paid to do what you're doing. Israel publicly said 6-7 months ago they're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on the 8-front war here domestically in the U.S. You guys have the talking points. You're on the payroll of a foreign power. You're the traitors. Idiots. Absolute fools. God bless you all. Bill the Radio. 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern. Big guest coming up. MTG's on tomorrow. Join me on on X. We're all shows on.
I mean, you're hearing from a person that's supported Trump the last 10 years. And there's no winning the... You could forget forget about the midterms. That's over with. And I'm almost willing to bet you can forget about the presidency in 2028. The Democrats are going to run with this. You have a cost of living issue. Now you have an existential threat. And I wanted to believe it. I wanted to believe that there was an actual plan, 6 weeks out, no problem. We figured it out. Regime change out. I thought they had better intelligence than this. But this is Iraq 2.0 on steroids. And this is only going to get escalated tonight. And this can go only two ways. Either they come to the table or this is going to get really, really ugly. Either economically or existentially and what's called humanity. And I'm not an alarmist. Trust me, I'm not. I don't buy into a lot of stuff that you see in the media. But this is serious stuff. And that's why I wanted to do a live today and have this conversation early, because I wanted to get it out there that this is serious stuff and we got to be thinking about it. We get so entertained with the world and everything that's going on with social media, but this is stuff that's going to impact us for the foreseeable future, our kids' future. This is serious stuff, and somebody needs to get in Trump's ear. And I just hope it's just words. I really do. Just words, and he finds a way and a solution to get these people to the table and finds an off-ramp and doesn't let his pride or ego, which is very hard for Trump. He's an egomaniac. There's no secret there. And I go back to, do I regret voting for him? No. At the moment, with the information I had, with the two candidates I had, Joe Biden was basically dead. We had to move the country forward, but I didn't see it turning into this. And I still have hope. I still have hope that Trump is pragmatic enough. Some people are calling his tweets gangster. I don't know what's gangster about putting us in jeopardy or a risk like this. And listen, I've been one that laughs a lot of his tweets. I think they're funny, they're comical. It's different. He has a way of communicating. And that's why he's won the election. He knows how to communicate at a very human level with people. And that's how he's been able to win 2 presidential elections, come basically back from the dead, and win a second term. But this is serious stuff. I mean, I'm gonna be at the edge of my seat waiting to 8 p.m. to see what happens here. It's 1:30 right now? About 1:30, close to 1:30. So we have about 7.5 hours before we're gonna know the fate, I guess, of the world. And again, I'm not an alarmist. I hate speaking in these terms. I'm a very optimistic person, but this is crazy stuff. And I just pray that we come to a resolution to this. But the fact is that the Trump administration, Trump underestimated Iran, and there's no way of gauging an ideology the way the Iranians think. They're willing to die for their cause. And I don't think we are. And that's the difference. But Trump's on one. So we'll see what happens. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to share, like, and subscribe, comment. I would love your feedback. I hope tomorrow I have better news. And hopefully it doesn't turn into a bigger conflict. There's no need, man. There's so many different issues that we have here domestically. Now to deal with this global issue, with our uncertainty on the table, just brings me no peace. And I said it yesterday on the show. Check out that episode. Talked about that. You can feel it. When you're talking to people and you just feel that something's off the way the world feels right now. And I don't know where we go from here. But I pray to God, God and Jesus is king. And at the end of the day, he's going to return for his people. But I hope that this comes to a resolution and not a catastrophe. Thank you for tuning in. Catch you guys on the next one.